Hello and welcome to the Idiot Book Nook, episode 61. My name is Blazewing and my pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
I am the reading dragon. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Lady Punnet. My pronouns are primarily she, her, sometimes they, them. Today is a she, her kind of day.
And I'm Crittershy. My pronouns are she, her, with a sprinkle of them. And today's just a me day.
I love it. My pronouns are me and fuck off.
Pretty much.
We are getting into a brand new book today. The Prospero School of Magic, The Return of Merlin, Book 1, written by A.P. Whitfield. It does come with a trigger warning as Lady Punnet sits here and chews on her copy of the book. What is our trigger warning today?
Trigger warning. This book contains situations and scenes that may cause people to become triggered. These scenes include, but are not limited to, sexual assault, rape, drugs, drinking, blood, gore, murder, and abuse.
If any of those topics or subjects make you uncomfortable, please know that this is probably not the book for you. We want to do our due diligence here, so this trigger warning will be coming at the beginning of every episode that we do this book for, as well as some other books that we do may carry trigger warnings as well, so just keep an eye out for those, and we will attempt to leave those trigger warnings before we do any reading from the books.
Can we just appreciate that AP actually put trigger warnings in the beginning of the book?
That's huge, actually. That is huge. You don't see books with trigger warnings in them these days, and I am all for that.
Like, legit, it's first page.
Yep.
After the little title page and the blank page where she, at least for our copies, signed.
Yep. So for those of you that are unaware, we are, Critter and I are using a Kindle version. I didn't see the trigger warning in the Kindle version, so that might be something to keep an eye on.
That's true.
And just make sure that it's in the Kindle version as well, especially if it's something as heavy-handed as those.
Maybe if we don't see it like in the first few pages, we should contact AP and let her know.
Yes, I would. If somebody wants to make an actual note of that, that would be great.
I will make a note of it, and then at the end of the chapter, maybe we can have Blue contact her, since she has been in further contact and has actually met AP.
Absolutely. That being said, if you would like to follow us on social media, you can do so at linktr.ee/idiotbooknook, and our link is actually in the chat if you are here watching the Twitch stream. You can click that link, and it'll take you to all of our socials, our podcast feed, the Twitch feed. You can come join us on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. normally. All of our individual socials, the YouTube, and all of that jazz. You are more than welcome. With that being said, we have a new book and a new narrator. So, who is narrating this story?
It's me!
Cool.
I narrate today!
So the way we've broken this up is we figured everybody should have a chance to do the narrating and then the major roles and then the minor roles. So since Dragon and I have had a chance to do narrating and main characters, we are going to take a backseat for this story, and we are going to leave it to Lady Punnet to narrate and to Crittershy to take on the main character. And we will fill in the supplementary voices as needed.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, narrator, are you ready?
Yes!
Take it away.
Oh, I think I have to. I think I have to start it because it's talking, not actual reading.
But I gotta say the title and the intro.
Yeah, do our book intro. Sorry, this is gonna take a while for you to adjust to. Just a heads up.
Okay. Prospero School of Magic: The Return of Merlin, Book 1 by A.P. Whitfield. Narrated by Lady Punnet. Voice acted by Crittershy, The Reading Dragon, and Blazewing 2010. Chapter 1.
You do not really think you can beat me in dueling, do you, Merlin?
A young man says with a playful laugh as their blades clash with one another. from where they were in the courtyard. He ran
that might not be the main character, is it? I'm confused now.
I think. Okay, I'm going to go on a limb here and think this is probably Arthur.
Just take the voice, and we'll deal with it as it comes up. We will take note of who took what voices.
Yep.
He ran his fingers through his blonde locks as his blue eyes shining brightly.
Oh, I do not think you should underestimate Merlin. One too many. One too many have, and you see what happened to them.
A sweet but playful voice calls out to them from where she peeks out from behind a magnolia tree.
Magnolia.
That.
Actually, you know what? I'm thinking Dragon should actually take that voice instead of me.
Yeah, because I'm reading a little, and it's like,
Right,
yeah.
As we settle into this book, let's take that again.
Okay.
So for clarification, Critters being Arthur.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon is being Morgana.
And I'm gonna take whoever that blonde male is, but we'll get to that.
The blonde male is Arthur.
Arthur.
Oh. So you would take Merlin when he
that's
speaks
fine.
eventually.
I can do that.
Speaking of, just let me get this real quick.
1 second as we settle into our new book and new roles. It's gonna be a bit of a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we
usually-
promise we're totally
here's the thing.
professional.
Our last two books were very narrative heavy, so we got to hear about the characters before. This is starting like right smack dab in narration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting storytelling mechanic, and we'll get to that at the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
Where we nitpick things as soon as we figure out
All of the nitpicking.
Okay.
Dragon, are you ready?
Yes. Oh,
So start from
Oh, I do not think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not think you should underestimate Merlin. One too many have, and, well, you see what happened to them.
A sweet but playful voice calls out to them from where she peeks out from behind the magnolia tree.
Morgana, come to watch the show.
The blonde male asks teasingly, knowing good and well she only wanted to see Merlin.
You are teasing me again, Arthur.
Morgana bit her lips smiling as she leans on the tree. A soft blush tinted her cheeks as she looks at Merlin.
Hello, Merlin.
Good afternoon, Princess. I hope you've had a pleasant time in the village with Lady Gwyn.
Merlin bows to her as he looks up to meet her gaze as the sun shone brightly against her golden locks, shine in the sunlight, and her blue eyes sparkled. Merlin bit his lower lip and looked down at his boots, his dark hair falling into his blue eyes. That was a shade darker than the two siblings.
I did. Now, why do you look away from me, Merlin?
Morgana asked, moving away from where she was by the tree.
Have I offended you in some way?
She questioned, stopping in front of him. His blue eyes locked back on hers in slight shock.
No, my lady. Forgive me if I have insulted you.
Soft laughter could be heard that seemed muffled, and the images started to fade into nothing but a blur. Shifting slightly in her bed, the sound of laughter and chatter could be heard outside of Clara's door. She groans and rolls over, looking at her clock that had yet to go off to tell her to get up. Laying back, she rubbed her eyes, trying to understand her dream. Looking at her book that was in her bed, she laughed to herself.
Should I take this?
Yes.
That's you. That's the main character. We have Clara.
I should really stop reading this. Sorry, let me start over.
Mm-hmm.
I should really stop reading before bed.
Yawning, she removed the covers off of her and got to her feet, pulling her long blonde hair up, and walked over to her bay window to look out over the school grounds. She could not shake the feeling of her dream. Something about it seemed so real, and Merlin seemed so familiar.
Those blue eyes.
She whispered to herself and sat on the bench by the window to gaze out.
They favored... No, That is just silly. Merlin is not even real. It was just another silly dream.
Prospero School of Magic was an old Gothic-style school settled in the mountains of the New England area. The housing was set up after Greek names. Each student, to get in at the early age of 8, had to get a test to place them in their proper house. The test was designed to see how each student's brain works and how each would handle life events. The school believed at the age of 8, the child's brain was developed enough to help them make a series of decisions. Separated into 3 houses, Socrates, Ulysses, and Teng. Ulysses and Teng?
I'll be right back. Keep going. If you can
So
see the end of this page, just hold on a sec.
Okay, how do I pronounce that first one again?
So it's Socrates,
Ulysses,
Yeah.
Ulysses,
and Teng.
Teng.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't the last one also have an Isses at the end? Why is Teng the odd one out? Poor Teng.
Just to trip you up.
Okay. So I'm already getting Hogwarts vibes.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Except
at 11, it's 8.
I mean, we don't even know if they're there year-round. 8 seems pretty young to be away from your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she just woke up in the school, so at the very least, it's a boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's only a boarding school if you're, like, old enough?
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
find out.
find out. We just gotta wait for Blazewing to get back.
She said
Yeah.
we could read to the bottom of the page.
Oh, okay. Socrates held those that was creative and ever so intelligent and full of wisdom in each of their own way. Ulysses held those that was clever and quick-minded, that was resourceful and able to handle situations by thinking outside the box to see the bigger picture. Lastly, there is Teng, with being daring and brave, with a thirst for adventure that drives them to seek out the unknown without a care for the consequences. Each house had a head of house, being a boy and girl, to help keep the peace with all of them and make sure everyone is in bed on time. They were the superb boy and girl. Only in year 12 could any student be given the right, and to get it, those students had to have the highest grades, perfect attendance, and show a mature level of responsibility. Only then would the headmaster appoint those students. Looking out over the field, Clara smiled as she looked down to see her older brother, Sebastian, dismounting his broom. She could see him calling the school's Pola team into a huddle. He was the team captain, and superb for Ulysses. Now, Pola was a sport that was popular in the realm of magic, that other giftedly magic kids from other schools all over the states and sometimes out of the states would play against each other. Each team gets the ball into the opponent's goal, like in just about any other sport that there is, but this is done on brooms high up in the air, because what is the fun in being magical if you cannot have a bit of fun on a broom?
So Quidditch.
Yeah. The area it is played around is 110 yards long and 60 yards wide. Protective equipment must be always worn while playing. That includes a helmet, mouthguard, batting gloves, and pads. The goalie must wear extra and special protective equipment because of how dangerously fast the ball comes flying at them. The goalie uses a wider stick that is like a bat and has a net on it to... One second. The goalies use a wider stick that is like a bat and has a net on it to either hit the ball away or catch the ball. The two that play forward has a bat to help them move the ball down the field or land a goal, much like in the non-magical world for those that play football or rather soccer in the States. The other three that play in midfield help defend the goal with a cross to catch the ball and toss it back to the forward. The ball that is used is about the size of a softball, and the game ends when the first when the first team to 50 wins.
Okay.
Pulling herself away from the window, where the beautiful fall foliage could be enjoyed, she started to get herself ready in her school uniform. The uniform for the students was rather simple. It was a blazer with the school's crest on it. The blazer could only be black, gray, or navy in color, and same for the trousers or skirt that had to be worn, and the dress shoes. White button-downs were to be worn with it at all times, and the matching ties. It was very clean-cut. The girls were to wear sheer tights to look natural, and none of the students could have wild colors in their hair.
Boo.
Boo. The dress code was strict, but it was not too much of a problem for the students. They did not seem to mind. Clara was dressed and looking over herself. She had on light makeup and her uniform of navy blue. She fixed her skirt, making sure it looked straight.
Perfect.
She smiled at herself and grabbed her wand and rucksack, tucking the items away in it, and then grabbed her violin case. Looking herself over one more time, she quickly left her room to go catch up with Sebastian for breakfast in the cafeteria. Rushing out, she ran into one of the boys in her house, a fellow Socrates.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
She looks up at the male as she dropped her things, causing them to make a mess in the hall, where the sleeping quarters was for all the students. She blushed as she soon realized who it was.
Daniel, I am sorry.
She knelt down and started to gather her things.
It's okay. Here, let me help.
Daniel smiled as he chuckled softly at her blushing face, his dark hair following slightly into his blue eyes that made her freeze up slightly because they matched the same blue orbs from her dream.
I take it you must be excited for the exhibit that is coming in today.
He looked up, meeting her blue eyes with his as he handed her things back to her that she then tucked away into her rucksack. His Italian accent rolled smoothly off his tongue as he spoke. And you do an Italian accent, Dragon! That doesn't sound like Mario or Luigi.
Let me get a sample here.
Yeah, because that's like Italian is very broad, like Central
true.
Italian,
It also
Sicilian.
depends on it depends on what part of Italy you're from, and
where he learned his English.
Yeah.
And how thick is the accent?
Yeah, how thick is that Italian?
Also, that would have helped if we heard that they had an Italian accent, like, at the "it's okay, let me help you" bit.
Yeah.
But I get it, they're trying to make him seem suave.
Yep.
After her anime moment.
Yep.
When he nose a nosebleed.
I'm just gonna turn my mic off for a second here.
All that was missing was her having a piece of toast in her mouth as she ran out of her room.
I was thinking the same thing.
But anyways, Clara, it's your inner thoughts right now as Blue Dragon is listening to sound bits.
So I do inner thoughts?
I
wasn't sure on that.
Should I do inner thoughts or should the voice actor do inner thoughts, you think?
Let the voice actor do it.
Yeah, just to make things, like, coherent.
Those eyes. Like from my dream?
Clara shook her head to come out of her thoughts.
That is today? I forgot about it. I've been so caught up with this book and...
She bit her lip as she brushed her hair from her face, grazing her skin ever so lightly. For those who can't see, Crittershy is doing a very dramatic-sized version of brushing your hair out of your face, while making very silly expressions. This has been your audio description of the day.
God damn it.
And now it is Dragon's turn, but we are waiting on her because she is looking up sound bites.
Yes.
You got this!
You got this!
So what is it that we are
Sorry.
leaving off at?
Sorry.
Sorry, now I can see your eyes better.
Sorry. Gotta do a deeper voice because I'm doing dude.
Roll them R's. Roll.
There's not a whole lot of rolling that I found so far.
That's what she said.
Rolling.
Rolling
Rolling
down the river.
Welcome to the ADHD portion of the show.
Hey, it's been a while since we had like an 80 portion of the show. Give us a break.
It's a new book. We're excited.
Sorry. Now I can see your eyes better. What is your book about that you're so invested in?
He asked as he took her hand to help her up.
It is about Merlin, from King Arthur. I've always had this odd crush on him for some reason. Oh, it's still in brackets.
No, it's still in brackets.
Oh.
It's still in quotes.
Yeah, she's going to admit that right there.
Go ahead.
All right.
Getting ahead of myself.
Admitting your fictional crush to your actual crush. Here goes.
Oh, yeah. There is actually a term for what type of sexuality you are for having attractions to fictional characters.
We'll get into that at the end of the chapter.
And there's a flag for it.
We'll get into that at the end of the chapter.
I found this out on accident.
Critter, take it away.
I've always had this odd crush on him for some reason. So I always find myself reading these fictional books about him and romanticizing him.
Clara blushed a deeper shade of red as she avoided his eyes and played nervously with her violin case handle.
I do not find that silly at all. He is one of my favorites from that time as well. They say he was real and he is still alive.
Daniel looked her over with a smile.
Do not be embarrassed. I think it is sweet that you have a crush on him. I always had one on Morgana.
He bites his lip and let out a soft. Sorry, let me try this sentence one more time. He bit his lip and let out a soft laugh.
I think that's a typo.
I think it's a typo. We found our first typo. We should have like a little tickety thing.
A soft laugh.
Oh, guys, look in the Twitch. Look in the Twitch.
What am I looking at?
Cosplay author. It is your book. Hello. So, hello to the author.
Hi.
Don't mind us. We get off track. It's kind of what we do. We are also going to be making some just kind of base notes. But welcome to the Idiot Book Nook. We hope you're having a fantastic morning.
Oh, that reminds me. In the Kindle version, did you guys see the trigger warning?
We didn't have the trigger warning in the Kindle version. It's in the physical book, but not the Kindle book.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah. I've got a list of notes here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll be going. We're still only on page 6.
Yep. We're having fun with this, though. But,
okay.
We hope you enjoy the ride. We hope you enjoy the experience of having your book out there for the first time, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He bit his lips softly and let out an soft laugh.
A soft laugh.
Yeah. I hate to run, but I need to go. I need to get packing. Father is sending me to Norway to study the dragons for a few months, so I will be doing a lot of online work, unfortunately. But be careful. I will see you when I get back.
Clara. Your mic's off.
I forgot. Yeah. Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
Don't worry. I got your line highlighted for you.
Thank you. Wait, so you will not be here for the fall ball?
Clara frowns, looking at him sadly.
No, and I had plans to ask a very lovely girl I am quite taken with.
Daniel returned her sad smile, with kissing her hand gently. Come on, you can't be falling for him that quickly! Just because he's got an Italian accent and dark hair and blue eyes! and kisses people's hands.
Shut up. Maybe she
We are
will be-
not simping yet.
No, it's just a situation. It's cute.
I
It's
know.
a cute situation.
I know.
Especially since they're like, I don't know how old these people are.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
apparently
just...
we're freezing up a bit on the stream.
The author actually has some comments for us. You guys are freezing up really bad, but my editor was very new to the editing game, so this will be good for him as well. Which means if we can go through and catch things, I can send a comprehensive list. We can send a comprehensive list of things to AP Whitfield, and these can be used as notes.
Oh, sweet. We can do that. So, I'll make a note. Then on page 6, there's this typo.
I've actually already got it highlighted.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That might actually be better for the digital copy, so I don't have to write in my beautiful book.
Yes.
Don't you dare. You don't write in books.
Your book is a first edition, yo. You don't write in first editions.
Bitch, don't do that.
Ever.
You never write in first editions, especially signed copies.
Yeah.
No, if anything, just like take a picture of the page so that way you have like the digital page and then you could mess around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of doing, but
All right, well, did she have any other comments for us so far?
No, just that so far. I've got my eye on the chat.
Okay.
It's still my turn.
Yeah, so maybe she...
Yep. Maybe she will be willing to forgive my absence and allow me to court her when I return.
Oh, are you meaning me?
She swallows nervously, her cheeks staying pink. Okay, I'm hoping they're at least teenagers.
17. Please be 17.
Please be 17!
18. 18 at best.
19 at better.
Let's find out where this goes.
Yes.
I would like to get
my
past
dear
this
Clara.
page, please.
Yes, my dear Clara. Will you allow me to court you upon my return? I would be honored.
Daniel smiles at her warmly.
I would like that very much.
She lets out a soft laugh, returning his smile. He leans down and kisses her cheek.
Then I cannot wait. I will be back in January, after Christmas. I will write you or call, whichever you prefer.
Both?
She looks up at him shyly as he takes out his phone, handing it to her to put in her number, and she did the same. He took a picture of her for his caller ID and took a selfie with her phone before pressing save. She looked down at her phone and back up at him.
I'm waiting for the page turn.
Yeah, sorry. I was. AP says that they are 18.
Yay!
Okay! Yes!
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 Do anything.
They're legal!
Also,
Yay!
sorry, I was jotting notes.
Blazewing is in control of the page turning.
Yeah, we're working on getting us all a copy, but it's gonna take like probably about 24 to 48 hours. So just bear with us.
Please be safe while you're away.
Of course. I have someone I want to come back to.
Daniel gave her a wink and kissed her hand again. Okay, this guy's got to stop being suave. It's only page 6.
I mean, AP has admitted that she fell in love with her own character. He is charming.
Clara.
A little voice yells as she runs up excitedly, hugging her from behind.
Huggling.
Wait, hold on. A little voice yells as she runs up excitedly, hugging her from behind, knocking her forward, calling for Daniel to catch up.
Clara.
Clara! Oh, sorry.
Clara.
Lilith.
I keep doing... I'm too used to doing voices! I'm gonna shut up now.
You can't
You'll
show
get
the
it.
narrator. It's your go.
Narrator, damn it.
Clara replies with a laugh.
I am sorry. I just get so... Oh. I am sorry. She just gets so excited.
Lilith's eyes widened.
It's him. Did you ask?
Clara blushes.
No, Lilith. He's going out of town for a little while.
Daniel arches a brow.
Ask me what?
Clara really likes you.
This is the little sister. I'm calling her right now.
The little sister that just has no problem just yeeting Clara under the goddamn bus.
I mean, who's a better wing woman than your own little bratty sister? Lilith giggles. Lilith giggled.
Let's keep going and find out.
Lilith giggled, her blonde, curly hair and pigtails as she ran around them, her bright blue eyes shining with happiness. She was 8 years old, and she was always a bright ball of sunshine.
Guess what?
Oh, she does. I could not tell.
Daniel chuckled as he watched the 8-year-old run around them excitedly.
What is it?
Clara sighs and stops Lilith to make her stand still.
1 second.
Yeah, I think this is her.
Okay.
This is Clara still.
Yeah. No, this is Lilith.
This is Lilith?
The exhibit's almost done being set up, and there's this really cool crystal on display, and it's very colorful. I've never seen anything like it before. They say it came around from around the England area, like it is as old as King Arthur. But he's not real. But you know what I mean. It's from around then.
She looks up at him, smiling brightly.
You're right. He is very cute. Is he your boyfriend now? He was holding your hand.
Oh my Lilith, hush!
Clara covers her face with her hands. Daniel watched her and laughed softly as he knelt to Lilith's height. Now, this is hard!
You're good.
Daniel,
You're good. You're
Daniel
fine.
had a bit of a voice crack there.
He's 18. They can have voice cracks.
They can have voice cracks at 30. Now, what makes you think Arthur is not real? He very well could have been, but history can get lost and told wrongly. And to that other question, I want to be, if she will have me.
Clara removes her hands from her face and met his eye.
I would very much like that.
He smiles at her with an excited expression that he worked at to contain.
Okay. Now, I really must be going before I make Father sore at me. I already cleared things up with Sebastian on missing the games we have coming up. I told him I was going to try and talk Father into flying me in for the games at least, or at least using a portal to bring me here for them. Mom is going to as well, so maybe I can see you earlier than January. If you would be up for it, or can wait for me that long. I know a lot of young suitors want to have your heart.
I will like that very much. You do not think he would let you come back for the ball?
She frowns and Lilith looks between them, watching her face excitedly.
Their faces.
Their faces. No,
I will wait for you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Next up is a new players come into this game.
I could practice my male voices.
Okay.
This will be a good opportunity to practice my male voices.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be fun and interesting if these two have to talk to each other. Oh, God.
I think they probably will.
Yep. Hello, Clara.
Romeo walks over to them, his long platinum blonde hair partly braided back.
I have a question. I'm sorry if I'm cutting into something, but if you do not have a date for the ball, I would like to take you.
Clara looks at him surprised.
She is taken.
Daniel and Romeo locked eyes and both glared at each other.
She has someone courting her. You will have to find someone else. Let me guess. You are the one that's courting her, but are you not leaving for a few months? How fair is it to ask her to be dateless to not only the fall ball, but the winter gala? You will not be here for any of it. She is far too beautiful to sit alone with no suitor.
She is not some prize to be won, my good sir.
Romeo!
Romeo!
Smack him.
Wherefore art thou Romeo? I mean, what?
Romeo's over there being a bitch.
So wherefore art thou actually means, why does it have to be Romeo? That's what it actually means.
I know.
Okay.
Romeo commented back, his expression unmoving. Daniel licked his lips and sighed.
I will be back. I do not care what I must do. I will be back for her.
Romeo.
We will see about that. Until then, I will make sure to make myself available for her. I will see you in class, Clara. You do look very beautiful today.
Anyone else getting, like, pick-me vibes from Romeo?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting the vibes of God's gift to women, and I fucking hate it.
I'm getting I'm getting the overly confident jock.
Garcon!
Kind of man.
No one shits like
Did you just-
Gaston. No one hits like Gaston. No one.
Careful, careful, we'll summon
tries to
Disney.
let me.
We'll summon Disney. We don't want to summon Disney.
Don't fuck with Disney.
I'm doing a
Okay,
parody version.
Romeo looks back at Daniel and looked him over with a smirk.
Enjoy your trip, Mr. Smith. I'm sure your father will be very mad if you go against him. We know the professor's temper can be scary. I could only imagine him as a father.
He walked away down the hall and around the corner, vanishing into the darkness of the area.
Blaze, can you note another typo with professors?
1 second. Yep,
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, professors should have an apostrophe S.
I got it.
Hmm.
1 second.
At the very least, the second edition will have, and the Kindle. I imagine the Kindle version is easier to edit than the books
Yeah, I
because
can actually sit here and make digital notes into the actual Kindle copy, and I can highlight and whatnot. And it's nothing for me just to sit here and notate. So
yay. Next we have Clara.
there's your line.
Sorry, swallowing.
That's what she said.
That is what
Not
she
yet.
said.
I mean, she's not swallowing yet.
Shut up, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel.
Okay, we're good. We're fine.
Bring it back.
What did he mean by that?
Clara looked at Daniel with worry written all over her face.
Your daddy's not mean to you, is he?
The little girl asked as she tugged at his blazer.
No, he is just strict. Ignore Romeo.
Daniel looked to where Romeo vanished.
I will be back for the ball. I swear it, Clara.
He bent down and kissed her cheek.
I swear it.
Quotation mark is missing
1 second.
with the eye.
Yep.
He whispered as he looked into her blue eyes that he hated to leave.
Nuh-uh.
Clara blushed and looked up at his face and bit her lip. Stepping on her tiptoes, she gently kissed his lips, catching him by surprise.
How tall is this dude?
Lilith covered her eyes, giggled and giggled.
Oh my, how cute.
Lilith turned around and ran into the hall, trying to walk away with her eyes covered, and tripped, calling for Daniel to catch the little girl.
Thank you. I'll go find Big Brother and Jenna. I think they might still be out on the field.
She smiled back at them as she saw them both blush. She ran off down the hall, giggling to herself. Clara and Daniel both exchanged shy smiles. He gently took her by the hand and pulled her to him, pressing her delicate frame to him and cupped her cheeks. He let out a nervous, shaky breath, bent his head down to capture her lips, kissing her deeply in the dimly lit hallway. Clara was taken aback when he pulled her into his arms the next couple of seconds, blurred as she wrapped her arms around his neck, deepening the kiss with her crush. His lips felt so familiar as well as his touch. It felt like they had kissed before, but the memories seemed to fog over slightly.
Why does this feel like we have kissed before?
She thought to herself until they pulled apart to catch their breaths.
I am so sorry if I overstepped my boundaries.
Daniel breathed out as he looked down at her flushed face.
You are very beautiful, my dear Clara. I will miss you.
He reluctantly pulled away from her and kissed her hand.
I will let you know when I land.
I will miss you as well. Come back soon and be safe.
She replies sadly as he took her hand back. As she took her hand back. The taste of his morning tea and crumpets, with a hint of fresh berries, still lingered on her lips and her tongue. And turning on her heels, she walked down the hall and could hear Daniel's door open and close, indicating he was not in the hall no more. She looked back sadly and kept walking, eventually making it down the stairs and through the large hall, home, out into the school grounds that were beautiful with its landscaping and the change of colors in the trees.
I'd be having a moment if that were me. Just panic.
Apparently Clara is better composed than you.
Apparently.
She walked on down the cobblestone path till she came across Sebastian, Jenna, and Lilith walking up the path as Lilith played in the leaves and threw them up, dancing around in the leaves, falling and blowing in the breeze, causing the leaves to stick in her hair. She giggled and ran over to them.
How was practice, you two?
She asked, pulling leaves out of Lilith's hair. Sebastian smiled down at Clara as the sun reflected off his blonde hair that matched both his siblings as well as his bright blue eyes. He was about 6'2" in height with an athletic build to fit for what he plays, as well as ballroom dancing, fencing, and tennis, as well as golf.
I am.
Overachiever much.
Yeah.
The siblings were musically gifted. Sebastian could play piano and violin. Same for Clara, who also did ballet and other forms of musical theater. Lilith could play the flute and violin as well as piano and did ballet. It was something their parents had them all do together.
When did they sleep?
Yeah, when do they freaking sleep?
I don't think they do. Wait, no, they do sleep.
I mean, yeah.
They do ballet and homework at the same time.
They have to have some sort of magic to do, like the automatic writing for them or the automatic typing for them. Or, I mean, there's mention of using technology, so probably while they're doing ballet, they're doing like the audio, like the voice to text thing on their computers.
Yeah.
So we have a new player now. We have Sebastian.
Yeah.
I'll take Sebastian. Lilith told me something interesting.
Sebastian chuckled as he saw her face quickly blush over as he took out his cigarette case with his family crest on it and his initials in the corner of it that matched his pinky finger that had an S in cursive. He placed the cigarette in his mouth and lit it.
So, Daniel.
Sebastian!
You two are an item now?
Jenna.
Who wants to take the sister, Jenna? I mean,
I don't think Jenna's a sister. I think Jenna's a friend.
Sebastian Alexander Cameron. Put that out.
Jenna says as she walks up with her hands on her hips. Jenna was a short girl standing about 5'5". Her brown hair was pulled back in a French twist and her brown eyes looking at Sebastian with a serious glare. Her olive complexion showed she spent a bit of time in the sun. She was athletic and always spent a lot of time outside and would golf or play tennis with Sebastian, being that they were on the school teams together. Clara always did too, but she never gained a tan. She never gained a tan. She was always fair, completed with pure white skin. I think there's supposed to be a comma there.
Clara always did too, but she never gained a tan. More than likely a semicolon? Mm-hmm. Yeah, semicolon.
Yeah, semicolon would fit there better. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a run-on, but
yeah, a
semicolon would fix it.
period. Overall, like I tend to move away from semicolons when I can. I don't like using semicolons unless I have to. A period would fit there better, but a semicolon will also do in a pinch.
Mm-hmm. So we have Sebastian's line now.
Please. I know. 1 second. Jenna, lay off.
Sebastian scolds.
Sorry. You are killing your lungs.
Jenna waved her finger at him like a mother to a child. Clara giggled as she watched the two go back and forth like a couple fighting, but the two were not even a couple. They were just close and both seniors. Jenna was the superb girl for Socrates and from Blackpool, Lancashire, England. Clara and her siblings were from Kennebunkport, Maine. The school was large, and students from all over came to either their school or the rival schools that was scattered out the world.
So Jenna has a bit of an accent as well.
A Scottish one.
Scottish? Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is somebody else further down. Never mind.
Yeah, Blackpool, Lancashire, England, so a bit of an English accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A laugh could be heard walking up as a mess of curly brown locks blew in the wind. His Scottish accent was slightly thick as he spoke.
Jenna, lay off my mate there. Now, can I have one of them, mate? I don't know what accent that was.
It started off Scottish and then you went Australian.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how, and I am so sorry.
We're still working on accents. Please bear with us. It's part of the reason
Hold
we're
on.
doing
Let me see this real quick. Hold on.
The thing about Scottish accents is you have to be very, very careful that you don't get too Australian. So
Yeah.
I find what works best is if you like have it more in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do a Scottish accent. Nope.
Nope.
I
don't know what that was.
Practice.
Jenna, lay off my mate there. Now, can I have one of them, mate?
We're getting there. We're getting there. It's the mate. It's the mate. It's the mate portion. You were fine until you hit mate.
Now, can I have one of them, mate? Mate.
Yeah,
Can I
better.
have one of them?
Yeah, there you go. There you
There
go.
we go.
Taking one of the cigarettes from Sebastian.
Good morning, Chester. Did you enjoy practice?
Clara asked. Chester smiled at her and nods as he lit the cigarette.
I did. I am excited for the next game. Bummer your boyfriend won't be joining us.
That's
gave her-
much better.
There we
Much
go.
better.
There we go. There you go. I'm part Irish and I'm part Scottish too.
I mean, same
So
here. Heinz 57.
yeah.
He gave her a mischievous smile. Chester was Sebastian's best friend that lives with the Camerons. Their parents adopted him after learning he was being abused at home. Dimitri, Clara, and so that should be a comma with Dimitri. Dimitri, Clara, and her siblings' father took it to court, and him being a lawyer was able to make it happen and save him from that life. He was a tall, athletic-built kid that was about 6'1". How are these children all taller than me? He was in the same year as Sebastian and Jenna. All of them grew up together and spent a lot of time at the Camerons' house in Maine or at one of their holidays homes.
Lady Punna, isn't your younger brother taller than you?
Let's not get into the fact that my younger brother, who is 11 years younger than me, is taller than me by almost a foot now.
I think I opened a source file.
People like you are in short supply.
I am almost 6 feet tall! Clara turned red in the face.
Who told you?
Lilith, apparently you two were kissing in the hallway.
He teased.
Lilith!
Clara explained and hides her face in her hands. Lilith giggled and ran over to them all. 3'9" of her was bouncing around in excitement.
She's so small.
She is so small.
1 second.
Wait, no, 3'9"? That's actually kind of tall for an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I was 3'9" when I was 8.
Yeah, that's tall.
Yeah, but you're also a taller lady.
I am a taller lady.
Yeah.
I believe I'm the shortest here.
I mean, her brothers are tall, so it makes sense that she'd be on the taller side.
Yeah.
Cricket, how tall are you? I mean, Crittershy, how tall are you? Sorry.
5'3.5".
Don't
Yeah,
forget
you are
that
the
half.
shortest.
The half is important.
The half is very important,
It's
okay?
very
I am
important.
almost 6 feet tall. I understand completely.
Yeah,
What?
I'm 5'6".
It's so sweet. He looks like he loves you.
He does not love me.
Clara sighs.
Anyways, I am starving. Can we go up to the cafeteria and get something to eat?
Of course. I'm feeling rather hungry myself. Oh, hold on. That's
No, it's
Sebastian.
It's
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
It's Sebastian.
Yep,
You're
you got
good.
it.
You're the brother.
Of course. I am feeling rather hungry myself after practice.
Sebastian worked to change the subject as he noticed it was embarrassing Clara.
I am always up for I am always up for food, so why ask?
Chester led the way as they walked along the path with Lilith running ahead and playing in the leaves. Once in the cafeteria, they went and took a set where someone came up and started to
Words are hard.
Yeah.
Words are hard. Once in the cafeteria, they went and took a set where someone came up and started to serve them. I think
Seat.
that's supposed to be a seat.
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Clara looked around the cafeteria at the exhibit, her eyes wide with wonder, while she quickly ate as fast as she could to go look at the crystals, a girl after my own heart. She had a large collection of crystals and books of her own spell work dealing with crystals. I will be right... Oh, that's not me!
Nope.
Is that Clara or...
Yeah.
I think that's Clara.
That's Clara.
I will be right back. I want to go see those crystals. I believe that is a rare sea crystal. I have got to get a closer look.
She pulled out her book that was leather-bound and had a pouch on it to hold her pens. Walking over, she opened her book and started to sketch it out, writing down the little information given. She was amazed by it and let her fingers graze the crystal. She quickly pulled her hand back as it felt like the crystal pulsated. This line is Romeo.
Yep.
Douche.
It is rather beautiful, is it not?
A voice said from behind her.
It's still you, Lady Bunny.
She looked back to see Romeo.
Yes, it is. I'm sketching it out in my book.
She showed him her work and all she had done in the past.
You are rather good, Clara. Do you have other books with your work in it? I would love to see them if you do.
Romeo gave her a gentle smile as he studied her face.
Yeah, I can show them to you at some point if you'd like.
Clara replies politely.
I am always free to you, so whenever you can pencil me in, I will be happy to take a look at your work.
Romeo replied to her gently. She looked up at him and bit her lip and nodded.
Excuse
Nods.
Maybe later? It's almost time for class.
He looks at his watch and sighs.
Yeah, it seems so. May I walk you to our first class?
I guess that'll be okay.
Clara finished what she was doing and closed her book, looking up at him with a warm smile. She waved over at her siblings to indicate she was heading to class. Sebastian let his eyes linger over Romeo, his face serious. He turned to Sebastian, he turned to Chester, who was watching the two cautiously, and he nudged Sebastian.
Curiously,
and he nudged Sebastian.
I think he fancies her.
He said with his mouth full of food. This is Lilith.
He does. He asked Clara out while Daniel was standing right there. It was interesting to watch them. Daniel made it a point to let Romeo know Clara was his girl.
Lilith giggled as she tried to sit up straighter and act a bit older, as her little legs swung back and forth, being too short to touch the ground where she sat.
This one's Jenna.
Really? I did not know Romeo liked her. I kind of thought Daniel... I kind of thought Daniel did... Oh. I kind of thought Daniel did. He just would never say anything.
Jenna looked at Sebastian and Chester.
There is a little bit of a typo here.
I'm gonna go back through this chapter and make like a full set of notes here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We'll just keep on going forward.
Yep.
Probably scared you two would not like it.
She chuckles.
Sebastian.
That's me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please. I'm not that scary.
Sebastian rolled his eyes at her.
Chester, am I wrong?
Jenna arched a brow and took a sip of her tea as she waited for the male to speak while he swallows his food that he overly stuffed in his mouth with.
She is right, Sebastian. She is right, Sebastian. A lot of students are a bit scared of you. You have this look. Always so serious. Hardly ever smile, and you are very strict.
Chester shrugs and washes his mouth down with a cup of warm apple cider. I want apple cider.
Same.
Sebastian shook his head and finished his tea.
At any rate, at least a little bit here does not think I'm too much. Hold on. At any rate, at least little bit here does not think I'm too much that way.
And now it's Lilith.
Nope. You're the best big brother in the whole wide world.
He calls her little bit.
Yeah.
Lilith held up her arms for him to pick her up, and he did with a gentle smile resting on her lips. She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed his cheek.
Now take me to class so I'm not late.
She ordered.
Right away, a little bit.
He grabs her bag. He grabs her bag and nods the two, finishing up.
I'll see you both in class.
He left with Lilith to her class. Should little bit be capitalized, you think?
Yes. It's a proper name that should actually be capitalized, yes.
Yeah,
So,
because it's at least a nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's like how people don't always capitalize sweetie or honey.
Well, the thing is, in this case, little bit is technically a proper name. It's something that you are calling somebody as a replacement for their name. Whereas sweetie or honey isn't always used as a replacement. Little bit in this case would be.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
The day went on from class to class. At Prospero, they not only have classes such as charms, potions, spellcasting, dueling, alchemy, and the study of plants and brooms, flying classes 1 to 12 for each class, and lastly, the history of magic and elemental magic, but aside from your basic classes for being gifted
Keep going, you're doing good.
But aside from your basic classes for being gifted magically, they offer economics, basic living, basic math, chemistry, biology, astrology, anatomy, geometry, algebra, playwriting, literature, world history, and American history, as well as art, music, and theater, and gym. I have a feeling there needs to be more commas.
Yes.
Each year you take so many of the classes, and some are taken into levels on advancement. Clara walks out of class with Romeo, chatting away over the lessons, and the project they were just given to work on together.
Oh, shit.
It was already dinner time, and students were heading to go eat. The exhibit was still up, and the man over it was talking to Professor Smith Sr. and his wife, who was a professor as well. Smith Sr. was the professor of potions, and his wife taught charms.
Oh, this is Daniel's parents.
She was a very beautiful and a gentle woman with a soft voice. It was always calming around her. Her husband, however, was not that way. He was serious and always looked mad. He was an attractive man, but he always let off this scary exterior. Students could never figure out how the two ended up together.
This is Romeo.
So, We will get started on the project for astrology after dinner. Sound good?
Romeo asked as he took his place beside her and started going over his notes. When he heard her phone go off, she pulled it out, and it was a FaceTime from Daniel!
Yay! Daniel!
She said excitedly.
You made it! How was your flight?
Hello, Princess. It was long. I did finish reading the book on the flight, though. How was school? I have to get caught up on everything I have missed today.
He sighs and gives her a tired smile.
It was okay, but I miss seeing you in class. Always correcting the teachers.
Oh, he's one of those.
Oh.
Clara laughed softly.
Yeah, I know they hate me for that. I have been told plenty that my mouth will get me in trouble one day.
I could say a comment about that, but I will refrain. He teases back, but in all reality, he was not kidding. Romeo held his tongue. He figured the more time he got to be around Clara while Daniel was away, the easier it was going to be to win her over and steal her from him. He just had to play his cards right.
You fucking asshat!
She is not a thing to be won, Romeo!
I miss you. Have you heard if you'll be back for the fall ball?
She asked with hope in her voice.
Father says no. Mother says yes.
He ran his fingers through his hair as he walked into his hotel room, took his jacket off, laying his phone on the bed as he did so. Picking it back up again, he lays back on the bed.
So, I am saying yes, and I will be there and suffer Father's wrath for it later. Now, stop frowning. You look worried. I will be fine.
He smiled and bites his lips as a chuckle left his lips.
He won't hurt you, will he? If you're coming here with hurt, I don't want it. I don't want you hurt.
She replies with worry and fear in her voice.
Clara, look at me. Not your plate. Look at me. I am coming back, and I am coming to be with you, no matter what. You are what is important to me, okay?
Daniel sat up on the end of his bed as he spoke to her, his eyes meeting hers again as hers still held worry for him.
You are so beautiful, Clara, and I am truly lucky.
A soft blush tinted her cheeks as she looked away again and let out a shy laugh.
I don't want to get off here, but I need to get started on my work that I'm... Oh, no, that's... Never mind.
I think that's Sebastian or Clara?
No, I think that's... Yeah.
That's Daniel.
Yeah, because we're still on a FaceTime call.
FaceTime call!
Hang on. No,
Because it says he smiled warmly at her.
Yeah, a soft blush tinted her cheeks as she looked away again and let out a shy laugh. Was after I am truly lucky.
So it's... One second. It's Sebastian she's on the phone with, right?
Yeah.
No,
No, it's Daniel she's on the phone with. Sebastian's her brother.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting characters confused. Go ahead.
I do not want to get off here, but I need to get started on my work that I am behind on from school. I will call you before curfew.
He said warmly at her as 3 words he'd been dying to say to her rested on his tongue, but he did not say them. It was too soon, and he did not want to scare her off.
Okay. I can't wait. I can send you my notes if you want me to.
She offered.
That would be very helpful, Princess. Thank you. Enjoy your meal.
He sighs and rubs his tired eyes as they ended the call.
Princess?
She thought to herself. That word made a lingering dream surface slightly that she worked to push back. Clara took out her notebook and took... Phlegm. Clara took out her notebook and took a picture of everything she had took notes on. When she was done, she sent him everything.
Sorry about that.
She looked over at Romeo, who had busied himself with reading over his notes he had taken.
That's fine. You should eat so we can finish here and get started on our work.
He did not look up from his work as he went on and ate.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
She glanced at him, his look serious as he read through everything and marking what to use later. She ate some of her dinner and finished up, then looked at her watch.
I'm ready if you are.
Are you sure you got enough? I did not mean to sound like I was rushing you.
Romeo looked at her with worry.
Oh, I got plenty. No worries. If I need a snack, I have apples.
Clara smiled down at him as she got to her feet.
If you end up needing anything while we are working, just let me know, and I will be happy to step out to get you something.
Romeo said gently as he got up and picked up his things and took her hand to guide her through the crowded of students still coming in after classes to eat. You cannot just take the hand of a taken woman, Romeo.
You can offer an arm.
I mean, if they're friends, it depends, but I don't get the feeling that they're, like, good friends. I get the feeling they're more acquaintances.
No. I mean, it was made obvious that Romeo's got the hots for her, and he wants to steal her from Daniel, and, Clara knows it, so...
True.
Because she was, like, right there when Daniel and Romeo just had that... we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Clara felt the gentleness of his touch as he held her hand. Once out, he reluctantly let her hand go. It was already dark out, with it being 6. The cold New England air cut through them. She shivered and wrapped her arms around herself. Romeo took off his blazer and draped it over her shoulders. Oh, that's not me.
Romeo.
Nope. Sorry, that's Clara.
Yep.
Nope, that's Romeo.
Nope.
No.
It's not. Not from the way it's phrased.
It's Clara.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see. Never mind. Oh, are you not cold?
I will be fine. We are not far from our house.
He pulls his arm around her to help keep the cold off of her as they walked along the cobblestone path.
Sir?
The cold winds covered up the fact that she was blushing, with the winds helping tint her complexion. Stepping into Socrates' house, the warmth of the old building melted the cold away with all the fireplace lit up and students spread out between the den and living space study.
Up to your room or mine?
No. Romeo asked as he removed his blazer from her.
Mine. You did say you wanted to see my collection.
Clara started up the steps and made her way down the hall and up the next flight of steps, and then the next till she was close to the top floor where her room was at. The very top floor, like all the Greek houses, is set up like an apartment for this superb boy and girl. As for the other rooms, they all each have their own bathrooms. They do not have to share. Nice. Each room being large and with a fireplace. She opened her door, and with a wave of her hand, she started her fire. Her cat, Missy, jumped off her bed to make her place in front of the fire, curling up to sleep. Kitty.
She is adorable.
Romeo knelt to gently pet her.
Is that your collection?
He nods to the shelf lining the wall of her bed.
Yeah, I have more in my trunk at the foot of my bed, and at home in my room.
She replies as she sat on her bed and got everything out and started to work on things as he got up to look at her things.
This is very impressive, Clara.
He took one of the books and flipped through it with a small smile on his face as he sat next to her.
I am sorry. I'm getting distracted when we should be working. I can marvel at your work later.
He laughed softly to himself and placed the book back on the shelf with the others. After an hour of working, they took a break from making the outline for the paper and the setup for the PowerPoint they had planned to do. Clara let out a yawn and stretched. She felt a small tremor and looked up at Romeo to see if he felt it too, and he did. He had a confused look on his face at first, but the moment passed and the tremor turned into something much larger. The students could be heard screaming and taking cover as they rushed around the halls. Clara's shelf started to rock, and she went to duck and cover herself as it fell, for only Romeo to block the fall of it, saving Clara from being hurt. She looked up at him and saw the pain on his face from the shelf and items landing on him, his eyes filled with worry and fear for him.
Romeo?
Shh. I'm okay. Are you hurt?
Romeo swallowed hard.
Quick, move under the bed.
Clara did as he pulled her scared cat with her, and he followed, lying next to her as he let out a shaky breath.
Are you hurt?
She slightly leaned up, but another massive quake came through, making her curl into him in fear as he held her close.
It's okay. It'll all be over soon.
He kissed her forehead and held her to him until it was over and it was safe to come out, but even then, she was scared to leave him. Leave him!
Leave!
I don't know how, but he planned this somehow!
I would not be surprised.
Romeo, we need to get you to the hospital wing.
She looks him over.
She looked him over as she helped him sit on her bed to get a better look at his injuries.
Your head is bleeding, and your back is bruised.
Yeah, he got bombarded by a bunch of crystals. No, it's the universe trying to get these two separated. Even the universe doesn't want Romeo near Clara.
Romeo, you're up.
I know. Let's see if we can get out to go. I still wanted you. Wait, what?
I still want
you looked over.
Romeo slowly got to his feet as he pinched the bridge of his nose and let out a shaky breath as he worked to steady himself.
Okay, I think I'm ready to try and move.
They left her room, finding the house a complete mess and the outside of the old school looking no better as teachers and students all tried to fix everything back to normal with a wave of magic.
Dun, dun, dun.
Lilith was in Jenna's arms as they made it over to them.
What happened? Sorry.
She looked over Romeo.
He got hurt saving me.
Clara says with sadness in her voice as they walked into the school.
Where's Chester and Sebastian?
They're going around with others to help the hurt and fix what they can along the way. How is our house?
Clara.
How is our house?
Jenna asked.
Oh, Jenna asked.
Narrator.
I'm sorry!
AP cosplay author says, LMAO, I just need you guys to narrate my life.
That can be arranged.
I mean, sure.
It is a complete mess.
Clara helped make sure Romeo would not trip or collapse as they made it to the second floor where the hospital wing was, and the small cluster of students was heading out. You would think the hospital wing should be on, like, the first floor in case someone was, like, really injured. Now I have to pee.
God damn it!
I'm good! I can last until the end of the chapter!
Okay. It actually starts with a new voice, which I am totally laying claim to because I may have read ahead a little bit.
Stop reading ahead.
You're good.
At least I didn't read so far ahead that I figured out what happens at the end of the series, Blaze!
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Uh-huh! My. How things have changed so much. I do not think we are even in the same place anymore, let alone year.
A soft, lustrous voice says as she walks up the path with the tall male.
So, since you've read ahead, who's taking this voice?
Anyone?
I can take it.
Give Critter more voices.
Yep, go for it.
We need to fit the part. We're going to have to change clothes. Time for a meal?
The male smirks and spotted 2 students.
I will have to do some alterations to mine, it seems.
He chuckled as they walked over to them and caught the couple off guard. The male looked into their eyes and started to started to talk and put them into a trance.
Enjoy, Citrine?
He says to the woman, whose features still remained hidden by the shadows like his did. Licking her lips, she pulled the male student to her and captured her lips with his, and then moved to bite into his neck and ripped out his throat. She let out a moan at the taste of flesh and blood that slid down her throat.
How tasty. Why don't you give your meal a little taste?
He had been enjoying kissing the young schoolgirl, who was in a daze and engulfed in him.
Yes, I should get started. Please, try to keep from making a mess. We need the uniforms.
Oh, do not worry. We can cast a little spell, and they will be as good as new.
Citrine replied as she enjoyed her meal of the male, humming a soft, hypnotic tone that kept the 2 students in a calm daze as they slowly became devoured by the 2 new faces on campus.
That was fun, but took far too long and only made me more hungry, Argon. No more of that mess until we finish feeding and figure out where we are and what year this is.
Citrine slips on the blazer and looks at the school crest that was on it.
If you insist, we will hypnotize some of these kids to go where we need them to, and we'll enjoy them there. Let us scout out the school. It seems our return and
being set free. And somehow being set free.
Okay, now I get it, yeah. Let us scout out the school. It seems our return and somehow being set free has caused an earthquake. That's probably my fault, seeing as I was causing one when I was being sealed away.
Argon used a bit of his magic to make the uniform fit his length. Argon used a bit of magic to make the uniform fit his length, 6'5". Both figures stepped out, dusting themselves off from the fallen rubble that dusted the uniforms as they walked into the school. Argon was tall and built. He had hazel eyes that seemed to be turning green on him. His hair was a light shade of brown mixed with some blonde. He had a look of someone that would be kind behind that smile of his that he had on his face as he looked around the area. He looked down at his hands as he clenched his fist, his skin getting some color back. Citrine's honey brown eyes looked over the mess and twirled a strand of her brunette hair between her fingers. She was about 5'5" and had the figure of a swimmer or a ballerina. Her olive complexion was coming back as she looked up at Argon.
Time to split up and get our next few meals.
She looks at him darkly and back at the students as they split up. Making her way up a few flights of stairs in the old Gothic-style building, Citrine managed to hypnotize a few students without looking like she was up to something. Spotting an attractive male with shaggy blonde hair that was fixing things back. She ran over to him, acting frantic and scared.
Help! Help!
Sebastian looked down at the frantic girl. He did not know her, but she had on the uniform. No, Sebastian!
Sebastian, no! By the way, Blaze, your turn.
What is wrong?
She pulled away.
She pulled him away.
She pulled him away from onlookers as she played on that something was wrong until she had him cornered. Looking deep into his eyes, Sebastian watched her eyes flicker and her pupils change. He furrowed his brows and stepped away from her until she felt something stab him. His eyes widened in surprise, and he looked down to see something stab through his back onto his chest. The girl screamed, acting in fear, and quickly ran away. Sebastian falls to his knees as he looked back to see whoever had done it, only to find them gone. He pulled the wooden dagger out. Don't pull the dagger out!
No!
And forced himself to his feet, using the wall to guide him. Taking out his phone out, he called Chester. In minutes, Chester was sprinting down the halls with Professor Smith Sr., hot on his heels, till they ran up on Sebastian, who was now laying in his own puddle of blood.
Don't take out the stake!
Bad Sebastian! He did not pass First Aid 101.
No, he did not.
This is Chester.
Sebastian!
Chester screamed and dropped to his knees beside him. So this is the professor.
We have a new voice.
Move aside, Mr. Williams. We need to get him to the doctor.
The professor said as he lifted the mail in his arms and opened a portal directly.
So real quick, Professor Smith, this is Daniel's dad, who also has an Italian accent.
We don't know that, though, because Smith isn't an Italian name. The mom could be Italian.
Fair.
And it doesn't say he has one. The professor said as he lifted the mail into his arms and opened a portal directly into the hospital where Clara was with the others. Her eyes landed on her brother, who was put on an open bed and started to get help immediately.
Sebastian!
She started to sob as Jenna hid Lilith's face from seeing him in such a state as her body shook in anger and hurt over him.
What happened to him?
Jenna asked through gritted teeth. Chester.
When I was on the phone with him before he collapsed, he said someone had stabbed him.
Chester replies with anger in his voice.
Stabbed him from behind. He did not even have the chance to defend himself.
Romeo sat up and held Clara to him.
Who would do that? Who would want to hurt Sebastian?
He asked in a state of shock and confusion.
This is Citrine.
Why did you stab him? I had it under control. Although he favored someone. My mind is just still foggy.
Citrine gently put her hand to her forehead.
It has been centuries.
I did it because what you were doing was not working on him. I do not know why it was not, but it was clear that it was working on the others and not affecting him.
Argon sat back in the old ruins of what looked like a castle that over time molded into the earth and was partly underground.
Portal magic is still a thing, it seems. Unfortunately, our castle is no more but this. Now we need to get that crystal. Put it away where others cannot use it on us again. And next, we free Agate and Carnaline.
Agate and Carnaline.
Yeah, it's one of those words where I have to say it in French or I curdle.
So, interesting note. I'm wondering if that's supposed to be carnelian because the other names that we have come across...
They're all crystals.
They're all crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
We should make a note of that too then, because...
I got it.
Thank you.
All right.
Why you humming?
All right, I believe Citrine is next.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the dining hall, I think I saw the amulet and our crystal. If we go tonight, we can get our hands on both, while everyone is distracted by the destruction that took place.
My thoughts exactly, my beautiful... Oh,
Sorry.
Citrine recommended.
Sorry.
sorry.
It's okay.
Now you can go ahead, Critter.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Doesn't
Those
help
two
that
words in.
Grim is crawling like on my shoulder, and like, imagine like a kitten claw, just
Okay, so I read a bit just so I can know, and this is definitely not for children.
AP, don't worry about it. We'll chat. We actually want to reach out to you and potentially sit down and have a discussion with you, but we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm. Join
My
our
thoughts-
Discord.
Go ahead.
my
Critter.
thoughts exactly, my beautiful sea goddess.
He pulled her onto his lap.
We would like to tell you what happened during this portion of the book, but it was at this point that we realized that pretty much the end of this chapter was nothing but smut, and as a result, we had to cut it off, and I have to mute the sound, otherwise it'll get taken down off of YouTube. That being said, we are working on some workarounds on other platforms, and when they come out, we will let you know. But until then, it's going to be just another few seconds here while things kind of work through, and I didn't just want to delete the video because, I mean, it wouldn't really make sense, so I left the video up and I'm putting in this audio explanation, but bear with me while we get things done. Do 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 do. And I think we're almost there. Just let me check my watch. Let's
Or, I don't know.
Book.
I mean,
It's a good book. It's just
a good book.
Twitch.
We might have to, like, for now, just use word be more vague.
or just put like because like whenever I share the Twitch stream on other social media, there is a little thing that comes up saying, "Hey, this is rated for like 18 plus audiences." So we should probably have a thing here.
So,
Like, does Twitch have a thing to where like viewers have to like give the okay saying that they are 18 and over?
No.
AT says the smut. LOL. You can skip that.
Or we could just like download the Twitch and then re-upload the Twitch with the smut taken out.
So, I'm just going to jump in here for a second. Things happen!
Yeah, but let's go with that.
Do I read a bit further down?
We're going,
do
to,
we
the,
skip
we're going
this
to the next
bit?
paragraph because I don't
Skip-
know if I
yeah,
can do that.
yeah.
I don't know if we can do that on Twitch because it is a.
Okay,
whole
1
separate
second.
scene.
Okay, let me just
Yeah.
quickly read through
The whole
this.
paragraph is smut.
They have
Okay.
a good time. A really
I
good
wasn't expecting
time.
that came from out of nowhere, man.
Okay, that we can't read. We can't read that. Okay, we can read the last page.
So it should be starting at, I think, we're losing him?
We're losing him.
Mhm.
That was great!
I mean, did the warning include to 1 second?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it goes back. It goes back to non-smut content. Being like, we're losing him.
All right.
All right.
We're losing him.
The nurse was
Take a moment.
The nurse was frantic as she rushed to do everything she could.
Out of my way!
Rang out a deep voice from a big, muscled-up man that stepped through a portal. He was a tan man with a bald head and light brown eyes. Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yes.
I'm picturing Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes.
He was dressed in light green scrubs for surgery and a white lab coat.
Dr. Mahoy.
Maho.
Maho. Dr. Maho,
The nurse let out a shaky breath of relief.
you got our message.
Yes. Now get him through the portal. The residents can handle the minor ones here. I'll do what I can for Mr. Cameron here. Alert his parents.
Dr. Maho walked through the portal, following the dying Cameron boy as he was wheeled into surgery.
He's in good hands.
The elderly nurse said more to herself than to others. Her white hair was in a bun on top of her head, and she looked over her half-moon spectacles, letting her green eyes lock onto Clara's blue eyes.
Are any of you hurt, or other than Romeo here?
No, I think we're all okay.
Clara replies as she clears the tears from her face.
And that's the end of chapter 1 for this. So
It got suddenly very. Give me a second.
It got
I,
intense.
I quickly like a content check to make sure we weren't able to read any of that.
we're
No
not-
other
we're
reason.
Not, we're not. It's a full-on.
No
description.
other reason.
No other reason, yeah.
So we did some talking, and we are actually going to end this episode here, guys. So give us a sec. We're going to end out this episode, and then we are going to start with a new one. Just bear with us, where we will get into the discussion portion for this chapter, because this chapter was so long, and we do have some things we want to talk about. So,
AP says, not gonna lie, that is who I pictured for him for the doctor.
Dwayne the Rock
Yes!
Johnson, yes.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
We nailed it.
So, guys, for this episode of the Idiot Book Nook, episode 61, thank you very much for joining us.
So much editing. So much editing.
There's going to be
needs
so
to
much
done for
editing
this.
going through here. I don't know if I'm going to just leave it all intact and let everybody just discover the beauty that is stumbling along or not. We'll see how this goes.
We need to just have a segment that happens when the things happen. Like, things happened.
Yeah, probably. I might just like remove the sound and have my voice saying "things happen" or "smut scene." I don't know yet.
And then there was a smut.
Yep. So,
And
if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so at lanktr.ee/idiotbooknook. Our link is actually in the chat. If we can get the link to this book for the author's works posted into the chat as well, that would be great. Dragon, I'm looking at you.
nuts.
Stop reading.
Our link for the book.
Oh, yeah.
Post that in the
You
chat.
can read it later.
Both the .com and .ca for anybody who might be Canadian and American.
Yep.
It gets saucy, just so y'all know. Like, the parts that I read through really quick, it gets saucy. Just so y'all know.
See?
So saucy.
With that being said, for episode 61 of the Idiot Book Nook, my name is Blazewing.
I am the reading dragon.
I'm Lady Punnet.
And I'm Crittershy.
And we'll see you for episode 62 and the discussion portion for this chapter. Thanks for coming.